love, how you doing? How was your week? Know you been stressed lately, I'm here whenever you wanna speak. Tough day at work, let's get it on, my little freak. It all started with an innocent kiss right on the cheek. Then may I take you out and let's just paint the town red.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm bringing you another what's for dinner video. These are my favorite ones to watch, so yeah, I thought I'd bring you guys one. So we're starting off the week with a lovely beef curry. So for this you'll need coriander, onions, carrots, green pepper, garlic, ginger, potatoes. I'm using extra special curry powder. We've got some ground coriander, some turmeric, some ground chili, and then you'll also need salt and cumin powder and garam masala, and you'll also need some diced beef. I already diced this. So I'm starting out by cutting up my onion, and you want to dice this super fine. And then I'm also going to save some in slices for my side salad. And now I'm just going to peel my 2 potatoes and chop them up. I chopped them into quite small pieces. I always feel like they cook a little bit nicer when they're in small pieces. And I'm cutting up my green pepper. And this I'm going to cut into kind of thick slices for the curry. And then to my pot I've just added some oil, and I'm going to throw in my onions, my garlic and my ginger. Give that a little mix around until they look kind of cooked and start to go a bit see-through, and then I'm going to add all of my seasonings that I showed you at the start. Once they're all added, you want to give that a good mix around and make sure that your onions, garlic and ginger are nice and coated. And now I'm just adding my diced beef. And then you just want to mix that all around and make sure that the beef gets nice and coated in all of that flavour, and then leave that to braise for just a few minutes until the beef goes brown. Beef has been braised, I'm just adding a little bit of water about halfway between the bottom of the pot and the meat. once that came to the boil, I just added my green peppers and my potato and gave that a nice mix. And then I just leave it to cook. I left my curry to cook today for about an hour and a half. And just during the cooking time, you just want to keep coming back, giving it a stir, maybe adding a little bit of water if it needs it. But yeah, just keep your eye on it. In the meantime, I just prepared my side salad. So for this, I have my onions that I already sliced, and then I'm slicing this green pepper as thin as I could. I then grated 2 carrots, and I hate doing this because it aches my arms so bad. I then prepared my coriander, and this is going to be split 3 ways. So Tyler doesn't like coriander on his salad, so I put a little bit on the side of his salad. Or not his side of the salad, sorry, my side of the salad. I kept some for garnish that I'm going to put in the fridge. Oh, and to your salad you just want to add salt and vinegar. Yeah, and then the rest of the coriander I just chucked into my curry. It's probably been cooking for about 45 minutes at this point. Devon won't be having curry with us, so I'm just going to be chucking some fish fillets in or just 1 fish fillet in the oven for him. And now I'm just preparing my rice to go onto the side. This is white basmati rice. I just wash the rice, add 1 cup, and I add 1.5 cups of water and a little bit of salt. Once it's boiling, I put it down to the lowest heat, put my lid on and let that steam for 18 minutes. My curry is pretty much done now, so I'm just going to give that a nice big stir and add my coriander for garnish. Devon was pretty impatient while I was cooking, so I've pretty much given him his dinner while he was watching me. But yeah, this is what my plate looks like. I absolutely love a curry. So yeah, this is one of my favourite dinners of all time. Next up were chicken wraps. I did the TikTok one where you fold it up and put it in the toasty machine. But yeah, for this you'll just need cheese, whole grain wraps. I added some carrot, and then you want whatever sauces. We've got sriracha, peronaise and mayonnaise. Whatever seasoning you want to season your chicken. I had this Mexican seasoning mix that needed eating, so I just used that. And then you want to cut up your chicken into strips and a nice head of lettuce as well. So really easy. You just want to fry up your chicken, add your seasoning. You can add your seasoning first if you wish. I didn't, but you can. And then I'm just adding in my seasoning packet, giving that a little stir around. And now, if you haven't seen it, which you probably have, this is how you do the TikTok wrap thing. So you cut a split in your wrap about halfway, and then in like the 4 corners you'll add your 4 fillings. So I've got my carrot here and a little bit of lettuce as well. And then I'm adding a little handful of cheese, and then in the last corner I put my chicken. And now you want to fold it. Oh, I also added some mayonnaise on top. And now watch carefully how I fold it. This wasn't easy. Maybe I shouldn't have used the chicken as that corner, but whatever, I did. So yeah, you just want to fold it like this. And then just chuck it into your sandwich press and leave it in there until the cheese has melted. And this is what my plate looked like. Not very impressive, but it tasted really good. The next dinner is Crocodiles. This is something that is South African. My boyfriend is South African, so I try to make things like this for him. So you'll need coriander, turmeric, an egg, an onion, crushed garlic, salt and pepper, parsley, ground cloves. I've got some leftover carrot from yesterday, so I'm going to sneak that in because Devon will be having this, so I like to sneak in some vegetables. You'll need some beef mince and 2 slices of bread. The recipe did say stale bread, but I don't know. This bread isn't stale, but I'm sure it will work just fine. So just start by cutting up your onions and transfer those into a bowl. I then added my beef mince and my carrots and all my spices. As you can see by my cooking, I don't actually measure anything. I just kind of eyeball it. So yeah, just kind of gauge how much I'm doing and that's how much I used of everything. Now for the bread, the recipe says to just get them wet with water and then squeeze out all of that water, and what you're left with is like a doughy bread, and then just rip it up and add that to your bowl. And now just get in there with your hands and mix it all up really, really well. I then used a tablespoon to measure out my Crocodiles, so you just want to make them into this shape and then flatten them all down. And then fry those in oil until they're nice and brown. On the side, I'm just making a simple rice. I do it Mexican style, so fry the rice first, and then I'm just adding peas to this and a bit of chicken stock. My plate. They were okay, but nowhere near as good as my mother-in-law's, but oh well, I tried, and Devon loved them. Tonight we're having lamb chops, and they've got like a honey mint glaze on them. We actually buy them like that. It's nice and simple, and now I'm just adding a load of veggies. I wanted a nice vegetable dinner after not really having much veggies last night, so yeah, I'm just going to chop up all my veg. And I'm actually chopping these in advance. I use the steamer baskets to wash the vegetables, so I'm just putting that on the stove and I'll just turn it on when I'm ready. I'm going to be roasting the sweet potato, so for that I'm just smothering it in olive oil, salt and thyme. And a bit of pepper as well. And then that will be going into the oven. I put it on about 200 for probably about 35 minutes. So easy. I'm now just frying my lamb chops until they're done. And I use the longest tongs in the world because I'm really scared of the fat like splashing me. And now I'm just going to take my sweet potato out the oven, and it turned out really nice, crispy on the outside, soft on the inside, just how I like it. This is how our plates looked, and I didn't do a gravy, I just added salt and pepper to all of that. I don't like gravy all the time. I also forgot to show you the cabbage, but yeah, boiled cabbage as well. Devon's, I just cut it up really small. The next night we had steak, egg and chips. So this is the steak, it's another pre-packaged flavoured one. There's the eggs, there's the chips that I used, and chicken dinos for Devon instead of steak. And then for the beans, I've got curry powder, onion and chilli that I'll be adding. I'm starting off by just throwing the chips and the nuggets into the oven, and then I'm going to start frying my eggs. As you guys know, I'm pregnant, so unfortunately I have to like smash up my yolk and make sure that it's cooked, because you're not allowed that when you're pregnant. And now I'm just going to fry my steaks. Obviously mine will have to be well done. And now for my beans, I'm just adding onion into my oiled pot, and then I'm going to add my curry powder and my chilies. And I'll just let that fry and soak in for a little bit. And then I add my beans, and I'm just leaving a little bit at the bottom for Devon because he'll obviously not have the chili beans. And this is what my plate looked like. Very yummy and simple. I like dinners like this midweek. And this is Devon's. I put a little bit of dip on the nuggets for him. The next night we had chicken Parmesan, so I cut up my chicken into like flatter pieces, and then I beat up one egg. I added breadcrumbs, these are the breadcrumbs I used, with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and mixed that all together. And now I've got my little helper here. He's not really helping much, he's just chewing on a pair of tongs. But this is what I did. I put the chicken into the egg and then into the breadcrumbs, and that's that. I heated up some canola oil into my pan, and I'm just adding my chicken there and making sure that I fry that up until it's nice and golden brown. And I'm just showing you here that I preheated my oven to 200 degrees. So once my chicken is done, I'm adding it to this Pyrex dish. And then I start to add my toppings. So I've just got passata, oregano, onion powder, Parmesan cheese and regular cheddar cheese. So I've just put a little bit on just like this. I've probably done it totally wrong, but this was my first time and I was doing it just off the top of my head. So yeah, this is how I'm doing it. And then I will pop that into the oven, obviously at 200 degrees, until the cheese is nice and melted. I did it for about 25 minutes. And on the side I just did a bit of zucchini, and I did a simple pasta, literally just a tomato sauce pasta, and this is how I served it. It was so tasty. I loved it. Devon loved it as well. He loves pasta. He's not too keen on chicken, but he did eat this, and yeah, that was a lovely dinner. Next up we have garlic butter prawns, and for this recipe you will need salt and pepper, you will need some prawns, and mine are just defrosting in a bowl of water at the moment. You'll need some chicken stock, some lemon juice, you can use a fresh lemon, some butter, and I'm going to use this whole garlic. I've used some in previous recipes, but yeah, I'll use that whole thing. And then from the bakery I just got this stone baked Vienna mini white sourdough, and it was very yummy, so that's a good one to buy. So we're going to have that on the side with some butter, and also this Caesar salad kit, and in the kit comes with your Parmesan, your bacon, and everything that you'll need for that. And then on the side as well, I'm just going to do a spaghetti carbonara. I'm literally just going to use that jar. So I'm starting out by boiling up my spaghetti, making sure that's all nice and soft, and then I'm going to wash my salad. I'm now going to construct my salad with all of the bits that the kit comes with, and then I'm just going to pop this in the fridge so that that's one thing done. My spaghetti is now cooked, so I'm just going to simmer the sauce and add the pasta in there, and then that is the pasta all done. And now for the prawns, I'm just adding about a tablespoon of butter to my pan and just melting that down. And then I'm going to add my garlic so I used the whole garlic that you saw in the previous clip, and I just chopped that really fine. I'm just adding that and just cooking that up until it is nice and sort of browned. Mine kind of browned a little bit too much, but it was fine. And now to that garlic and butter, I'm just adding about a 1/4 cup of chicken stock and around half a lemon of lemon juice. I'm now just mixing that all around and letting that reduce down a little bit. Once that mixture is reduced, you just want to add about 4 tablespoons worth of butter and melt that down slowly. And now finally it's time to add your prawns. Just toss them about and make sure that they get evenly coated with all of that yummy mixture. And then to my pan I also added salt and pepper on top. That is what my plate looks like. I just added a little bit of parsley on top for colour, and I loved this meal so much. This was probably my favourite. That sauce that's on the prawns is so yummy. And last but not least, I couldn't do a what's for dinner without including my Sunday beef roast. So this is the beef I'm using. It's a topside roast and it's just under 1 kilo. And then I've got some onions, some onion powder, paprika, garlic powder, salt and pepper. I'm starting by slicing up my onion, and just slice it this way. You don't have to dice it up. And then just throw them in the middle of the slow cooker. And now I washed my beef roast and I'm just patting it down to dry it with a paper towel, and I'm adding all my seasonings to it. Make sure you rub them in nicely. And now I'm literally just laying that on top of the bed of onions that we made and putting that in my slow cooker. I'll be putting this on low for around 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours. And I've pre-cut all of my veg, so we're doing potatoes and carrots. The potatoes I'm going to parboil. So I've just placed those in my pot on the stove, and then the carrots I'm going to roast, so I've just drizzled those with olive oil, salt and pepper. My cabbage I've cut up and put that on the stove ready to go. And after a couple of hours, that's how our beef is looking. Okay, once the potatoes have started boiling, I'm just going to switch them off the heat and drain out all of the water. And then I learnt this tip from my mum. She makes the best roast potatoes. Just once it's all drained, shake it up like this to rough up the outside of the potatoes, and that's what's going to give you a really crispy roast potato, which crispy roast potatoes are the best. I'm now just laying these out on a baking sheet, and I'm going to cover them in oil. I ran out of olive oil halfway through, so I kind of mixed olive oil and canola oil. It turned out fine, but yeah, just one oil is fine. And then I'm popping those in the oven at 200 for about 45 minutes. And make sure that you turn them while you're cooking them. I'm also going to add my carrots in there as well. The carrots don't take so long. I took them out at about 30 minutes. After 8 hours, this is what our meat looks like. It was smelling amazing. So I just popped that out of the slow cooker onto my chopping board. And now these onions and juices, we're not going to waste them. We're actually going to use those to make our gravy. So I'm going to take those out of the slow cooker and put them into my little pot. I also added some frozen broccoli just to make a little bit more veggies. Anyway, this is what it looks like. This is just the juices and the onion that I saved. And then I'm just going to add this Gravox gravy powder and water, and that's how we're going to make our gravy. And now I'm just slicing up the meat. As you can see, the meat turned out so soft, and that's why I love to cook meat in the slow cooker. I'm showing you here with that spoon that I used for the gravy, just how easy it was to cut. I mean, yeah, it was so soft. It was lovely. All of the veggies are now cooked and done. The gravy's done. The carrots came out of the oven. They are a little bit overdone, but they were nice and crispy, and I like them like that. And then all of those beef slices I put back into the slow cooker, and then I'm planning on just putting the gravy all over the beef, and then I'll just chuck my slow cooker onto the warm setting and keep them nice and warm. And this is what our potatoes look like. How good do they look? So this is my meat all covered in gravy on the warm setting, so that will be nice and warm when I'm ready to dish. And voila, this is what Devon's plate looked like. I just shredded up that meat really small, and this is what my plate looked like. It was so good. I love a roast. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope that I gave you quite a lot of inspiration for your weekly meals, and I hope that you loved the video. I've done these before, and I'll be continuing to do them in the future. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, also like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
What's up? How you doing, love? Man, kick it with a thug. We can party all